Hey guys, it's Eric at SideQuest Comics, and well, today I got a new video for you that's something a little bit different. And the best way I can describe what today's video is new ways to collect, right? So recently I kind of started looking at different ways to collect comics. Like whether that's uh like themed, I guess, ways to collect them. Something like recently I started questing after all the 25th anniversary covers for Marvel. I just posted a picture of what I got so far up on Instagram if you want to go check that out over there. But yeah, I started thinking about different ways to collect, not just runs or characters and stuff like that. And I don't even know how I came across this way to collect. I probably saw it online or maybe overheard it watching other, YouTube content creators out there. And it was probably brought up in a conversation um, of basically collecting comics that came out on your release day. So that's kind of what this was. Not to, this is probably going to tip my hat at, when my release day was a little bit. I'm old. They give you guys a hint. But yeah, I thought this was kind of something new and different. I thought it was kind of cool. It's a little bit gimmicky. I'll admit it's a gimmicky way of collecting comics that came out on your birthday. Now you can do it however you want. You want to do it maybe for the whole year or maybe just a month. I tried doing just the month and found that it was actually kind of hard. So also one of the things I thought was kind of cool is this is a way to maybe collect books that you wouldn't normally look at, like whether it's maybe you're a Marvel guy and you just don't really want to mess with DC. Well, it's a good way to dip your toes into it. Or maybe if it's a character that you wouldn't normally look at, like I actually have in this big stack here, I have, some Fantastic Four, I have some just characters that they're okay, but I'm not going to go after them. Now, I did make a list, so this is actually just what I found so far. Some of the stuff I haven't been able to find in the wild. So that's another thing. It's a fun way to just go out questing, to go digging and look for stuff. And I'm not concerned about, the grade of them. It's just something that's kind of neat to say that, hey, this came out when I was born. Also, I thought this was kind of a fun way to collect that a lot of people don't know where to start, what to collect. Do I collect those big keys? Do I go after the big books? Do I go after certain characters that are popular? This is just another fun way to collect, I think. Like I said, grab books you wouldn't normally grab, characters you wouldn't normally grab, and who knows, you may end up reading that book, kind of really liking it, and maybe you want to get more from that era, whatever, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, whenever it was your release day. But yeah, so I thought this was kind of cool. And I want to show you the books. I'll talk about kind of what I use to look these up. Now, how did I make my list? So there is a lot of different resources out there, you guys, that you can use online. That's the first place to go. You just type in, comics that came out, da 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 da. For me, it was, tip my hat here, 1973. And I got a list. One of the first ones that came up is a database for it was marvelfandom.com, and you could look at I think it was different weeks and stuff like that. So that was one place, and I'm sure there's other ones online that you can use. I kind of cross checked Key Collector on some of the books that I came up with. But I think my favorite one was the CLZ app that I use to track my comics. I kind of looked there first to see what I had, looking at older series that came out about that time period. I looked up what came out, in the early 70s type of thing series. And then I just started looking to see what I have. And then the nice thing is that if I knew of a series that came out about that time, say like Crypt of Shadows or something like that, I could look up the series because I know I don't have them, but I can look them up and then just look at the issues. When was it released? It was kind of an easy way to make a list, and then I can just say, okay, add to wish list type of thing. And I made a custom list in the app. Or, if you guys do it online and stuff, you could just write it down, make a list of books that you want, and you can add them in your phone or whatever when you're out and about hunting. But with that said, let's go ahead and go table down. And I have a big stack here that I want to show you guys. It is actually just 10. These are the ones that I found so far. So there will be probably more. This is one of those quests that I'm going to keep going. So maybe I'll do this again when I have some more. But this is just 10 that I found some more. I did make a little bit of cuts, like this Submariner was a little beat up, if you guys can see. But it is on that list, and this actually falls into a category that I'm going to bring up right away when we go table down with the first one I'm going to show you. So let's go table down, guys, and I will show you my first 10 birthday release books that I found. Okay, the first one here, guys, does have an asterisk. This is 131 of Fantastic Four. Now, the asterisk, and this, you can kind of adjust it however you want, really, is that this one actually released in November of 72, but on the cover, it does say February. Now, yeah, the cover says that it was released in the birth month that I'm going for here, February of 73. But it's kind of weird. I found a lot of them that were like that. The covers would say, like the Submariner I briefly showed says February on it, but it was actually released, a couple months before. Sometimes it's a couple months after. Now, a better issue maybe for me in this would be 134, and I might want to look for, because it actually was released in February, but on the cover it does say May. So it's one of those things you have to decide how, I think, OCD you want to be really with it. But if you look at just maybe the whole year, it still fits, right? It came out within that year of your goal, what your quest is, that your release date. So, but anyway, let's go and look at this one, because like I said, this kind of is a little bit different. I made an exception because it is a really cool cover. 131 was written by Roy Thomas, and the art is Jim Steranko, which is pretty cool. This is a key. It's the first cameo appearance of Omega, the Ultimate Alpha. I don't remember who that character is, actually. I am not too up on Fantastic Four, but just a cool cover. I mean, with the Human Torch here, Steranko is really something about his style. Quicksilver with this movement, and it's got the Inhumans in here. Very cool. Comic to get. Like I said, this is like a good example. I kind of like the Thing, but I'm not very big on the whole Fantastic Four team. Love Dr. Doom, so if Dr. Doom's in it, I'm gonna get it. But that's another quest. But it made me get this book because of when it was released. So, but Fantastic Four 131. Let's go on to the next one. Now, this next one is probably what started me down this quest of getting comics that came out on my birthday comics, or I'd like to call it my release date. And this one is Hulk 160. This does say February. It came out of that 73 month. So something I want to do is say the name of the titles of the stories, because I think some of these were pretty funny. This one is actually titled Nightmare in Niagara Falls. Very cool cover there. Steve Englehart was the writer here, and Herb Trimpe. Hopefully I'm saying Herb's name right. I butcher artist names all the time, it seems. But yeah, this was kind of neat. Hulk fighting Tiger Shark in Niagara Falls. Very cool one, especially for me and my wife. We have a tie with Niagara Falls there. And anyway, besides being the birthday cover, I guess, right? Very cool cover. I have started just recently getting the Hulk. Very interesting covers that I'm taking notice. So, but yeah, that's my second one for my top 10 here. Next up, I have a DC book. I'm going to try and go back and forth from Marvel to DC. And this one is a perfect example of getting something that you wouldn't normally get. This is my first Justice League of America issue, and a lot of it has to do with the cover. I'll admit it's a Bigfoot cover for me. If it's got any kind of character or Yeti that looks similar to Bigfoot, I am going to get it. But this is Justice League 104 that came out in February 73. And the title for this one is, corrects me up, this is The Shaggy Man Will Get You If You Don't Watch Out. That one right there sold me right away. Very cool cover. This is Nick Cardy did the cover. He does a lot of covers for DC back in the day. But yeah, this was a very cool cover. I mean, you got your classic floating heads and the team fighting this big, shaggy, Bigfoot looking guy. I don't know who Shaggy Man is, but when I looked it up and I read it a little bit, they have some scheme. They're trying to get rid of Green Lanterns at this time, his arch foe Hector Hammond. And they come up with this scheme to reactivate Shaggy Man to, I guess, surprise attack. But I think it goes awry, and Aquaman and the rest of the team, and Black Canary, Batman, Green Arrow, Hawkman, Flash, they fall in defeat, and the satellite begins to, fall to Earth. And I think it's Superman battles the creature, and it goes to a draw. So Green Lantern saves the satellite and his fellow members after the massive attack fails. So yeah, it kind of sounds like an interesting story. I don't know if my summary was very good of the story. Maybe you guys know of this character a little bit more, and you can comment down below. But this was just, kind of a fun looking book. Like I said, it's got a Bigfoot-esque character on it, so I am gonna grab it. Going back to Marvel, this is a character I wouldn't normally grab. It is Captain America and the Falcon. This is number 158. And this one is a little bit different. It does say it released in February, 158 here. And this one is titled The Crime Wave Breaks. Now, this one, the art is by Sal Buscema. Steve Englehart is the writer on this one. Very cool cover. With the Falcon, I like how Captain America is kind of ghosted there a little bit. Cool trade, bright yellow popping on it. So yeah, this is another example of I don't collect Captain America. He's okay. I've gotten some kind of, a few of his keys. I got some interesting ones that just look interesting to me because of the art. A lot of this one is the art for me. But yeah, that is Captain America 158 going into the collection. Very cool book to have. Okay, this DC book I saw and I had to have it because it kind of makes me laugh a little bit. But this is a Superman Volume 1 book, and this is 261 that came out in my release date way back in 73. And this has Star Sapphire on it. This is titled Slave of the Star Sapphire. Now, she is usually a Green Lantern villainess, but just the fact that she's in Superman, that's a really cool cover, I think, with all the white contrasting the figures, so they just pop off the page. And I love these old comics that have dialogue on them and the bubbles. I command you to kiss my boots, Superman. Let the whole world see you've become my slave. And I'm assuming this is Lois Lane and Jimmy back here. And yeah, it looks like Lois has a problem with that. She don't care if you're a super villainous or anything. She's gonna, you watch out for that Lois Lane. But yeah, this is pretty cool cover. I've seen this before, and never realized that it came out in this time period that I'm looking. So yeah, there's some Lois Lane ones that I've been looking for too, and I couldn't find them. And same with Jimmy Olsen. I think Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, but I couldn't find them to fit in this. So I'll have to keep looking and add them to that collection. Okay, next up, we have one of the few Daredevils I have. This is Daredevil and Black Widow. This is when Black Widow was in the title. Number 96. So this came out in February. I think the rest of these books are released in February. So I was a little bit particular about I want them in that month. But this one's titled The Widow Will Make You Pay. This is Jerry Conway, and the cover is by Gil Kane, classic Gil Kane. I'm not a big fan of Daredevil. I have some issues. I've read his most recent stuff. But I do like some of the old Daredevil, like when he was Black Widow was running with him. A pretty cool story. And then, of course, right after this, when Frank Miller started doing a lot of the storytelling, I've gotten some of those and read them, and I like them. But it's just not a big super fan. He's one of those, I guess you'd call him, further down on the tier list for me to get. But another good example of why this quest is kind of cool and different is that I wouldn't normally pick up this book. So I'm kind of excited to read this one. I haven't read this one. It's got this big monster in the background here. He's telling Daredevil and Black Widow to lie down. Masked man, you can't hide from an entire city of monsters. So Legion of the Lost. I'll have to see what happens in this. Kind of interesting little covers. I like I said, I don't know for sure what's going on, but I'm excited to read this one. Going to DC again, we have an oldie here. This one is Sons of Superman and Batman. Oldie in the sense that it's another one that came out my birth month. This is number 216. And the Sons of Superman and Batman are co-starring in World's Finest Comic. Very interesting cover. It's got the Sons of, which I don't remember these. They look just like carbon copies of Batman and Superman. They're just, I guess, younger versions. I know they've brought these back recently, but they're like really young. I mean, they look like they're 8 in the newer comics. They don't look like, just smaller versions of them. But yeah, I guess they're looking for the Super Sons here. And this guy is saying nope. But this one is called Little Town with a Big Secret. So yeah, it looks like they're frozen in some kind of stasis there. Nick Cardy is the artist on this cover again. It's very cool cover. I have actually a list of just World's Finest Comics, this old run here, of just different covers that I think are really neat. Whether it's I think Batman, Superman, fighting Joker and Lex Luthor, or there's I think some of them Batgirls on them and Supergirls on them. Just very interesting covers at that time period. So if you've never checked out World's Finest, check out some of those covers. I'm having a lot of fun exploring the DC stuff. So, but that is this one. So let's go on to the next. Okay, guys, I am sticking with DC here. This one was so jazzed to find. Do you dare enter the House of Mystery? So yes, this is House of Mystery number 211. Came out in February. And this one, I think what got me right away is that this is Bernie Wrightson art. I love Bernie Wrightson. His art at that time is just fantastic. Now, seeing Bernie on this cover was an instant buy for me. If many of you know, Bernie did Swamp Thing in the beginning, as well as a lot of other like kind of monster horror covers. It's something about his style. It was really, really fit kind of that creepy look that, I'd like on my horror comics from that time period. This is a very cool cover. It's a vampire comic too. This one has a couple different stories in it, but just that main story being a vampire one is kind of cool. I like this. It's like a zombie or something come out of the grave with a crucifix, and I don't know if it's reflecting sunlight at the vampire. very cool. This one, I love these old horror comics, and DC was really good at that time period of doing these. So check out House of Mystery if you haven't. They have a couple other ones that you could check out, but yeah, Bernie Wrightson, master of making some creepy covers. Okay, we're getting down to my last two here, and I have a big book here. Now, this one I was surprised when I looked it up, but this is Conan the Barbarian. This is the first appearance of Red Sonja in this issue. This is number 23, and this one is called Swords in the Night, subtitled The Shadow of the Vulture. So, yeah, Red Sonja is not on the cover, but this is known as her first appearance. 24 is Red Sonja's first cover appearance, just so you guys know, if you're looking to collect Red Sonja. But yeah, this one, number 23, very cool cover. Roy Thomas was a writer on this, and Gil Kane again on the cover here. The art inside was Barry Windsor Smith. He did a lot of the early Conan stuff. So that, I think, was what originally drew me into Conan as a collector. But this one, yes, it was because I collect Conan. But when I looked it up and I was like, oh, I have a Conan that came out on my release day. So, of course, this is going to go in my initial 10 comics that I want to show you guys. But very cool. This, like I said, can be an expensive book. So I don't know if there's reprints out there for this one as an alternative for some of these bigger books. But Conan number 23 is probably so far my biggest book in this actual quest. All right, so this last one is probably my favorite, and it is a magazine book. Holy cow, let's see if I can, there we go. So this is number 1 of Dracula Lives. Like I said, this is probably my favorite one in the list. This is by different various writers and artists in it. It's all black and white. But this came out, this is a birthday book. So it came out on the actual month. And it had different writers, like I said, Steve Gerber, Jerry Conway, Roy Thomas, Marv Wolfman, actual Stan Lee did some writing in this. And the artists too, Gene Colan, Tom Palmer Sr., Pablo Marcos, I think Russ Heath. Cover, this is a big thing for me, is Boris Vallejo. Very cool book. I like this era this was them getting around the comics code. So yeah, I've been actually diving into a lot of these magazine styles lately, whether it's Dracula Lives, Savage Sword of Conan, Vampirilla. I think I just recently picked up the zombie series that came out at that time. So yeah, if you don't mind black and white art, which to me I like better because you can really see the artistry of the artwork, the line work and stuff like that. And just the fact the subject matter is a little more adult, which is okay. I mean, it's not, I like regular artwork too in the stories, but it's just an alternative is what it is. So, but yeah, this is probably my favorite one in this list. So that was 10 comics that came out on my release date. Let's go up and we'll close out this one. Well, guys, there is 10 books that came out on my release day. I hope this gimmicky way to quest and collect helps you guys figure out a new way, something new to go after, to chase down and when you're out at stores and conventions and you're looking. So you're not just kind of, blindly going through and grabbing books here and there without any kind of guidance. I actually hope this is kind of a fun way to guide you guys into building kind of a unique, different way to collect. I mean, it's unique to each one of you guys, individually, based on, it's when you were born, right? Now, like I said, you can adjust that how you want, monthly, yearly. Maybe you just want to look for a certain decade. Maybe you just want to look at Marvel type of thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the nice thing about this kind of thing. It's not chasing a full run of comics. It is actually kind of, you know, you can tailor it to how, you know, best you want to go after a book that you think is going to be fun. So but yeah, let me know down below, guys, what you think of these ones. You could tell me I'm an old man. I was kind of hesitant on doing this because, oh man, they're gonna know how old I am now. But it's a fun way. I hope that it shows you guys kind of the fun things that, like, a lot of these books I wouldn't normally pick up because I mean, they're cool, but I'm just not a big fan of those characters or those runs. And so it's a way for me to get kind of into that a little bit. But let me know about down below, you guys, what you think of the ones I picked up. And please, when you're down there, give me a thumbs up for liking, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And please comment. I read all the comments. I like responding to you guys. And while you're at it, head over to Instagram, give me a follow, and like some posts that I do over there. I think some of these things that I showed off today, like these, showed up on Instagram in a recent post of me showing off some of the anniversary ones. So stuff like that's going to be over there if you want to just head over there and check it out. But that's all I got for this video, you guys. Let me know if you've had any success out there too, finding some stuff that is from your release day. But until next time, guys, happy questing out there, and we will talk to you next time.